You're listening to Paris: A State of Mind on Paris Underground Radio. For more great content, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Paris Underground Radio.
Welcome to Paris: A State of Mind. Join us as we talk about the good, the bad, the ins, the outs of property rentals and purchases in and around Paris. We'll have topics for renters, owners, and visitors, share questions we are regularly asked, and more. My name is Gail Boisclair of Perfectly Paris, and my co-host is Marie Pistinier of Lokim Paris. Be a part of it. Both of us are proud members of the SPLM, the first representative body of furnished rental professionals. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Paris: A State of Mind. We are in the podcast studio carrying on with our series of what it's like living in different arrondissements. And if people listen to the first two podcasts where Marie and I broke down the different arrondissements 1 through 20, I have to say, neither of us really had any commentary on the 16th. So it's kind of sad, isn't it? So we're trying to fix that. We're trying to get away from our unbiased opinion. So today I have a lovely friend who actually lives in the 16th, who is going to talk about this arrondissement with us. I'd like to welcome Linda Lamb, who is from Australia. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Linda.
Hi, Gail. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I'm Australian. I used to live in London. Then in 2018, my partner, now husband, decided to move to Paris. So I decided to come to Paris for love, and here I am.
And she stayed for love.
Indeed.
Well, that's very nice. And so I've been to the 16th. And to be honest, when I go to your place, even though I know it's in the 16th, in my brain, I feel like it's in the 15th. I don't know why.
It's really not that bad. To be fair, I don't understand all the negativity towards the 16th. Yes, it's a bit bobo, it's a bit posh, but it also means that it's very safe.
Well, we're going to get into that when I'm going to ask you some questions, and you can try to change the world's point of view on the 16th. So we know you live in the 16th, and what is your closest metro station?
So it's Ranelagh on Line 9.
Okay. And you've lived in that apartment for how long?
Since 2018, since we got here, actually. We were so happy. We never thought about moving.
Oh, wow. And so why did you choose the apartment that you're in? Is it really just because it was luck of the draw?
Good question. So it was because my husband had gotten a job within the 16th as well. And we decided, it's always convenient to be within walking distance of work, just in case there are certain strikes and such things.
I don't know what you're talking about. France, strikes? Never. Well, that makes sense. And so you purposely wanted to live in the area that you're in. And so I guess, had you been to the 16th? Had you visited it before?
So before I moved to Paris, I backpacked once in 2011. So everything looked quite different 7 years later when I'd come back.
Oh, well, that's all right. So then if it's 2018 so that's you're in your 5th year in theory.
Indeed, yes.
So after getting into your 5th year, do you still feel the same way? Do you feel better or worse about living in the 16th?
I think at the start, I was a bit bothered that we were so far away from the center of the city. I had to take a metro. I had to ride my bike out to do anything. A lot of my friends live in the 18th, so it was always going to be like a half an hour trek. But actually, as the years have gone by, I'm grateful that I'm on the edge of the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, it's true. That is an important point to make. And it's funny, during the whole series of interviews I've been doing with people, a lot of people have commented about being away from the hustle and bustle and how nice it is.
Because sometimes it can be overwhelming, for sure. And it's just peaceful where we are. You can have your own space. There's a lot of greenery. For example, I love to run. So I've got the Bois de Boulogne, just in that direction. In the other direction, I've got the Ile de Seigneur and the river. And there are lots of parks scattered around as well where you can go for a picnic. It's really quite lovely. And I think it's underappreciated a little.
I totally agree that it is underappreciated. And if you had to maybe pick a few things of what you like best about the area? Do you have your favorite things? Like I know you mentioned the parks, the green space.
For sure. I mean, look, it's so easy to just go for a wander. If you try to go for a wander in the city, it really can be a bit too noisy, or you might have to try to navigate and weave through people. Here, it's a lot more relaxed. We really enjoy just, wandering around and peering into people's properties and seeing how rich some people live. Or, like our favorite game is, oh yes, do you think is this entire building owned by one family? or are they flats? I mean, I'm just joking, but yes.
So, have you noticed if you were to categorize the type of people that live in the 15th, or at least in your area of the 15th, do you think that there's a certain type of vibe that you get in terms of families, couples, swinging singles, etc.?
I would say that this is a very family-orientated neighborhood. Having said that, I don't have any children, but I can see what the appeal is because there are lots of schools that are sort of scattered around the area. I can see like good amenities like gymnasiums, lots of sporting areas for children. So yeah, definitely. One thing to bear in mind, I would say, is if you're looking for like a nightlife or, like bars and restaurants and that sort of thing, you'd have to come out of the 16th. Whilst there are bistros here, I feel like you would go down there for a drink at the start of the evening and then move on, or maybe come back here for a nightcap, but I wouldn't spend my whole evening here. Or the people that do are mainly locals.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And have you found some favorite spots in the 16th?
Let's see. Is it bad for the podcast if I say we don't really drink out because they usually serve the same sort of sterile drinks like Heineken, Grimbergen? Or should I be honest, or should I?
That's important to know, because you know what? There's certain parts of my neighborhood that that they serve the worst wine ever, or God forbid you have a mixed drink and things. So it's definitely important to know that. So you just think that the bars are kind of very plain Jane type of thing.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, look, especially because it's the 16th, there's no such thing as happy hour here. So we're better off just buying a nice wine and going home. This is unfortunately the truth. Yeah, but what I'm finding is a lot of the venues that serve alcohol don't really have anything special on offer. It's just the same generic stuff. And, why would you pay, 16th prices? I mean, I will admit things on average seem to cost a little more in this area.
Okay. Do you think, because one thing that I have to comment on about the 16th, everyone automatically assumes that all these Anglophone speaking expats live in the 16th.
To be frank, I have never made a single friend in the 16th. I'm friends with my boulanger, if that counts. If I wander past the bistros, you will find a lot of American accents just sitting there, and you can see big bunches of quite youngish women with their strollers. That's about it. I'm not seeing as many foreigners. Perhaps it might be to do with the part of the 16th that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
I think possibly closer to Victor Hugo, around that area, behind the Arc de Triomphe. Maybe there are more foreigners, but here it seems mostly French to me.
Okay, that's interesting to know. See, that's already something that is a misconception broken, And do you have anything else that you want to mention about the 16th?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to defend it. If anyone wants to come chat, I'm happy to change your mind. I'm really grateful of the part of Paris that I live in. It seems to be one of the areas that people live in rather than people coming to visit. So this is why you can get a real balance and you can get the best parts of the city, because when you're up for it, when you're in the mood, you can go in and get some excitement, and you can just come home and just enjoy where you live, your own living space. Yeah, I mean, look, especially where I am around Ranelagh, if you just walk out the door, there are 2 boulangeries on the street. There's 1 boucherie, 1 fromagerie, and 2 wine shops. So then if you go to an odd one on each day, they don't know how much you're drinking. It's great.
But that's really great that you've got so many things literally out your door.
For sure, yeah.
And your metro station is close to you as well, too.
Exactly. It's a minute away. So that always helps. I would really recommend that you stay somewhere along metro lines 9 or 10. Buses are great as well, but it's always nice to have the metro because you can time your trips a lot better.
So 9 or 10, does Ranelagh just has the 9 though, right?
Sorry, yes, Ranelagh is just line 9, but there's also line 10 that takes you down to Auteuil.
If you're enjoying this episode of Paris, A State of Mind, you may also be interested in our sister podcast. Don't miss this. Join Jennifer weekly for the scoop on what's happening in Paris. Paris, A State of Mind will be right back after a word from our sponsors. And now back to Paris, A State of Mind. Here's a big question. So it sounds like it might not change, but if somebody gave you carte blanche to live wherever you wanted in Paris, in any type of apartment, etc., do you know what it would be? Where would you pick?
To be honest, I would still say the 16th.
Wow! Woohoo!
Although it would be nice to live in the 18th closer to my friends. That's about, yeah.
It's funny you've got so many friends that live in the 18th.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, that's nice. I'm one of those friends that live in the 18th. I guess what type of apartment would you want? Like now, is your apartment modern? Is it traditional?
This building itself was built 1890 something, I think. It's etched on the outside of the building. It's kind of cute. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. The good thing is that when we took the flat, it had already been renovated by the landlady. So by the time we'd gotten in, all the fixtures had been redone.
Oh,
I know that some flats have issues, especially with mold and whatnot. But yeah, you just have to make sure that you inspect it properly and get all the checks right before you move in.
yeah. And I think that probably most of the buildings around your area are traditional, old, beautiful Parisian stone buildings.
Yeah. This is why the walks are so enjoyable, because it's just interesting going around, and especially because of, I know that the 16th was originally outside the center of Paris. It was kind of incorporated in so that they would get more tax revenue, is what I read somewhere. Yeah, this is why it's quite interesting. You've got this real villagey feel.
It's true. This is the thing about Paris that I notice every time we speak to somebody. A lot of people mention how their area has a village-like feel. And I do feel that is one thing that is coming out in all these interviews that I'm doing, that people really feel that they live in a little sort of micro village within a big city because they feel that they have all their local things right in their area.
For sure, yeah.
So I guess for me, that almost makes me feel that you can be happy in more or less any area of Paris because it does become your own little village.
Exactly. Yeah, you've got to make it your own. That's for sure.
Well, thank you, Linda. That was very interesting. And do you have anything else that you want to add or tell people?
You won't regret it. Move to the 16th.
The mayor of the 16th is going to love listening to this. Thank you so much for your time, Linda. This was really great. And I think that even me, who is always ho-hum about the 16th, I think that you're, apart from being at your place, which I know is you do have a great area. I completely agree with you. I do think that I should give the 16th a little bit more of a try.
Well, you're very welcome. I hope that I can change some people's minds after today.
I think so. It sounds great. Thanks again.
Super. Well, have a nice day.
Thanks, you too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Paris, A State of Mind, featuring Gail of Perfectly Paris and Marie of Loquim, both who are founding members of the SPLM. Paris, A State of Mind is produced by Paris Underground Radio. The music, Jazz in Paris, is by Media Right Productions. For more information on this show and others, go to parisundergroundradio.com.
This episode of Paris, A State of Mind was produced by Jennifer Garrity for Paris Underground Radio. For more great content, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Paris Underground Radio.